Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome back to HTML. So today we're going to be going over formatting. This is going to include stuff like paragraphs, perhaps some styling, definitely formatting, headings as well. And yeah, let's jump right back into it. Okay, so uh, same format that we're always in. Going to give the title format. Going to go ahead and press go live so that we have the browser ready to go. We'll put that to the side here. Oops, sorry, one sec. Close that, don't need that. Okay. So, if you remember, whatever I type on this side, um, you know, press Control S and it'll show up on the right um, for our HTML document. All right, let's jump into it. So, headings. Um, when we went over headings previously, we talked about how there's a hierarchy. So we have H1 here, but we also have H2, um, and you'll see when I save it, it gets smaller, and this is just the default. We can change all of that. This actually goes all the way to H6. So we're just gonna actually we might as well do this. Oh, sorry, that it's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So yeah, as you can see, when I'm updating the one side of the tag, as long as it knows that it's within the same element, it'll change it. But of course, every IDE is different. You might not have that feature. So Control Save, and there you go, up to starting from 1 to the 6th. And yeah, so why are headings important? The search engines are using them definitely. So you want to make sure that they are short but helpful. You want to make sure whatever the heading is covering, so if it's covering an image, a section of an article, a section of your web page where you can, search for the weather in Calgary or something. So it has to be something that the user will look at and then immediately know is this what they're looking for, right? So people are often skimming through these things, right? You don't want your heading to just be the entire paragraph. That looks really awful on a website. All right, if the paragraph and the heading is the same size, it looks completely off, and we'll see examples of this as we go on. So quick note. So only use the heading tags, so the H1, H2, H3, for your actual headings on the web page. And yes, you may have multiple of these. For example, you might have 5 or 6 H4s, right? What you don't want to do is only use these heading tags to make your text big and bold, because that is not the purpose. And we're going to be changing this later with styling anyway. And what is styling? So styling is usually using CSS, or we can do it directly in HTML as well to create different fonts, different sizes, different position, whatever you want to do for your attributes. So worry about it there. Do not use a heading tag just to make it look bold. That'll look really awful. And pretty obviously, remember that this is a hierarchy. So your H1s should be your most important headings, and the H2s come under it, and the H3s and H4s, and each one gets less important as they go on, right? So in a web page, you might have an H1 and then a couple of H2s, and under each H2 you might have a couple of H3s, for an example. And you'll see this as we go on, as we start creating our web pages. So next after this, we were going to talk about the paragraph tags. Now the paragraph tags are very interesting because um, there's this really cool thing where, so if I have this paragraph, and well, this is how it shows on a web page. So remember that on different size screens, the HTML document is gonna look different. And later on, what we're gonna do is we're gonna add limitations to how the page reacts when it is a certain size. So like for example, I could say, hey, headings do this when the size is this small, or You know, I can say, hey, images expand when the screen expands. So all that stuff comes later. Right now, as you change the size of the screens, the HTML is going to start behaving differently. So back to the paragraph tag. What's interesting about this? Let's say I add a bunch of spaces here, right? And I press Control Save. Those spaces do not show up in the HTML document on the page. That's really interesting. The reason for that is because you can't change the display by adding any spaces, right? The browser is going to end up removing that, and so don't use that. However, if you do want a space, then what you want to do is use another tag called the performatted. Sorry, I'll actually write that down here so you can see it's performatted. That's what that is, performatted. And over here it looks like this. So there you go. And so when I save it now, you can see that the space will come here. It looks like there's a different default font and size, so that's something interesting. Of course, you could change that with your styling. This would be really useful if, for example, you were trying to display maybe like a poem. You know, if there's going to be spaces coming out randomly, etc. So cool. Okay. Oh, you know what? Some really quick ones we should actually cover is the tag HR, which is, oh sorry, so it's just a start tag. There's no end tag to it. This is a thematic break, and it's just as a horizontal row. So there you can see it. So you can use it to separate if you want to. The other one we covered last time was the break, although not really used, to be honest, and that just adds a little break line if you want to start separating things. For example, yeah, bad techniques, but you know, you'll see them in places. So actually, I'll leave a comment down here just to remind us that the pre-tag defines pre-formatted text. You know, I'm going to just write instead of the p tag. Okay. Last time I covered just really quickly what styles was, although this is again not used really, but you should know what it is. For example, let's give the style tag to the body tag. So if you remember, the body is for the whole page, and you know, we'll give the style and remember this is an attribute, right? So the attribute meaning the value, the property, and then the value right here. So over here let's mess with the background color. The great thing about VS Code is you don't have to remember any of these. So we'll pick you know, something really easy like the background color. I'll pick a color right here. Something really ugly would be nice, like dark red. And we'll press save, and nice. Just getting hard to read. I might actually pick another color here. Let's see. Let's go with aquamarine. Nice. So, you can see here that the styles can, you know, really freely be used wherever you want. But we'll cover a couple here. Let's go. Let's do something interesting for our header number 2. Let's put a background on that one. So we'll do that, and then background color, and so that's going to be. Sorry, give me 1 second. Oh, there you go. I just realized I forgot the Y. I was wondering why it wasn't working. There you go. So, interesting things. Interesting things. Should always be copying pasting because it is faster. Remember that the styles, so basically the attributes, they go within the start tag of the elements. Just something to remember. We'll keep that red too. Check it out. Very cool. We are now officially styling our document. And when I say our document, I'm just referring to this page right here that we're working on. Some people call it the web page. Others will call it the page. I call it the document. It's this word up here, doc, that reminds me. But yeah, that's uninteresting. All right, let's move on. Okay, after that, let's try messing with our paragraph, with our per formatted uh, section. So let's give it a actually, you know what, I'm going to turn this back into a paragraph tag because I like it like this. Um, and let's give it a different font. So we'll do a different style, one that we haven't seen before. So font would be the font family. The reason it's called font family is because, so for example, if I select Courier New, if that's not available, it'll go to the next one, and if that's not available, it'll go to the next one. That's why it's called a family, and usually the last one is or if it can't find it, it'll go to a default, right? You don't want to. Some browsers might not support those fonts. Some PCs might not have them installed. I'm not sure if that's still an issue, etc., etc. But yeah, it's called a font family, and yeah, some people pay for fonts, so that's also very interesting. A lot of times you'll see on a web page a really nice looking font, and you can't find it. It might be because they paid for it and they have to download it and use it. And we'll look into that later in much later videos. So this time I'm just gonna select. Let's do Cambria. This one. We'll press save. Okay, not terribly interesting, but you know, now we have a different font family. At the same time, let's see if we can give it a text align of center. Very cool. Let's see also if we can give it a text size. If it has it, oh, sorry, that would be font. Let's do font size. Let's give it a 150%. Again, not really done this way, but just for the purpose of showing you, just giving you an example of how to use the styles, how to use the attributes within the elements. You know, that's why I named this video formatting, because we're formatting our document here. Let's look at some more interesting tags while we're still going on. You know, because this is the formatting video. What about bold? If I want to make this word bold, so I can actually put a bold tag within the paragraph that I'm working with, and check that out. Sorry, give me one sec. Oh, actually, let's do one more. This one's always really funny. It's called the DEL tag, and that just stands for delete the browser. What it's going to do is going to read this as a deleted text. So there may be a scenario where you might need to do that. I'm not sure. Alright, if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks for watching.